Hi, welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. I'm Andy, and tonight I'm very pleased to be joined by Louis and Chris from the band Earthbound.
Hello.
Hello, welcome aboard, guys. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
Not bad.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. We're talking sort of mid-May, a couple of weeks after your headline set at Hitchin, Club 85, Metal to Masses Heat 8. Just wanted to ask you how you found the evening. How did you find the day at Club 85? I know you played there many times before, but how was this occasion?
Yeah, wonderful. It's always great to play 85. We always get amazing support. Always get people singing along, which we love. It's great, yeah. Love Club 85. It's our favourite venue. We love Bob. You know, we love all the staff there. We love all you guys. It's awesome, and the night was great. All the bands that played were awesome. I was judging that night. It was a tough night. Yeah, loved it.
Certainly was one of those. You watched it and you go, "Oh no, I've got to make a decision."
Yeah.
Oh no.
No. Yeah, and I did have to make a decision.
Which band am I going to send home and feel like an arsehole for not putting through?
Yeah.
Yeah, I judged the Heat, and it was tough between three, to be honest. But yeah, it's a really good competition. It's a great experience to go every week. I really enjoyed the couple of occasions I've judged, and you know, Club 85 is a great venue. You know, I love it there as well.
Yeah, we're immensely lucky to have a venue with that quality setup as
Very.
our home venue, because we 85 for us is. We were very fortunate in the sense when we entered Metal to the Masses, we visually entered it as like, good to get some gigs under our belt. Because very few of those before when we played, and that kind of like little taste of like, oh no, this is one like a venue that has like a proper PA system and like a proper stage box and actual stage and a drum riser. Actually, like sounds and feels like, because I watched a few other Metal to the Masses over the years, whether it be video or when we've gone and done stuff in other places or been at the venues where they run their Metal to the Masses, and I'm like, this is just a pub. It's just a pub
lot of the time, yeah.
Very small. Like, no knocking them if they're running gigs out of that. Cool, as that's very good. But like, we are so lucky to have 85 as our home base.
Sorry.
You was asked to headline because you were finalists, I think, in 2018, but you didn't win. Am I right in saying, though, you got a Bloodstock slot because of one of your music videos?
Yes. So, I can talk about that. Basically, what happened was, as I mentioned a minute ago, we are like Metal to the Masses for us was our first run of gigs. We played one gig like at 85 of the month before that a friend of mine's brother was promoting, and we got on reasonably last minute, and it was like, okay, sick. Well, guess we're doing this now. But we originally signed up for Metal to the Masses just as gig experience. We were thought we'll get a gig, maybe two out of it, and then we can go roll on some other things, and then come back next year, kind of thing. We accidentally got to the final.
We were saying, I remember when it happened, we were like, this is a bit of a meme. What's going on here? What's happened?
Surely one of us is going to wake up in a minute. And then it is.
Where's the camera? Is there a camera there? Camera there? What's going on?
But in the meantime, we were like, it's always worth a punt on a competition. That year, Hobgoblin were running there's like a music video competition. You uploaded them, your video to there, and then they put them on their website, and you vote, essentially. We're very fortunate that our singer went to university to study drama, and is therefore mates with loads of people that do various kinds of film, videography, just all over the industry. And one of his friends said, before we put that EP, that says, I'll just do a video for you. I'm pretty sure it was free, because I think she used it as one of her uni assignments.
Okay. Yes.
Citation.
Well, shout her out, Lucy Norton.
Lucy Norton.
Lucy Norton for the video for Mother's Ruin, and it won an award as well. It might have won 2 awards, actually.
It won quite a few awards, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It's a great video.
But basically, we got to the final as Metal to the Masses, and we lost out to 13, which, you know, not exactly a bad thing to lose out to a band.
No, they're great.
Obviously, you've probably seen 13 a million times live, Andy. They are quite good live. There's a lot of energy,
yeah.
and a lot of professionalism about them. So we were like, that's cool. We'll come back. We'll get them next time, boys. We'll get them next time. Intending to enter in 2019. We get an email from Simon a few months later, and it's like, I think it's I think I was going to buy my Bloodstock ticket that morning and put it off. I was like, okay, in the evening when I get back from work. We got an email from Simon and said, all right, lads, so you've got the most votes on the Hobgoblin competition. You free on the Saturday of Bloodstock? And we were like, of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not going to be free. So,
yeah.
That
I mean, it was still luck. I mean, we got an amazing slot as well.
That was stupid.
All the time. It was like half 7, but we closed
half
off
7.
Closed off the stage.
We were the last band on.
Yeah. Very bizarre.
We were just after Luna's Call.
Yes.
If you've ever seen Luna's Call before, Andy, they are such a. If you like Opeth, you'll like Luna's Call.
Amazing.
Go to Luna's Call.
Okay.
We were on at the same time as Cannibal Corpse. So initially, we were thinking, it'll be fine, even if this is rubbish. We're Cannibal Corpse are on, so no one's going to be watching us. Then it started raining, and everyone decided to come into the New Blood tent. And if you see me play live, right? I don't play with my glasses on, and I'm pretty blind without my glasses. This is about this to this camera is about as far away as I can see. We were playing Bloodstock. You can see on a video that's on our YouTube channel me turning around and going, as I realised that this tent is now like 2/3 full, and it was maybe 30 people when we started.
Yeah. Oh no, come on. It was a few more than 30.
Okay, it was a few more than that, but it wasn't 2/3 full when we started.
No, it wasn't.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to see this.
It was pretty mind blowing. Yeah.
Insane, utterly insane.
A pretty good experience. Your day at Bloodstock then.
Absolutely
incredible. Yeah. I mean, we had issues. We had issues.
Do you want to go into that, Luke?
Yeah. We had issues. I mean, I'd enjoyed the weekend, so I didn't have a voice. The first night actually we got there's someone in a tent in our vicinity, and it still haunts me to this day. Someone in a tent in our vicinity who had their work alarm still on, evidently, and they could not hear it. But between the hours of 5 and 7, I think I timed it at 17 minutes. The entirety of Down With the Sickness would play over and over and over again to wake him up, to wake this person up. I don't know who it was, and they could not hear it, but I certainly could. So I wasn't a happy bunny. And then we got on stage. We were terrified. Well, I was terrified. We were stressed. You know, it's a big thing. I mean, it was our 12th gig ever, and none of my pedals worked, bar like I think I didn't have a tuner, didn't have any effects. I just had distortion and clean because that was through the amp. And since I've gone digital, thankfully, to prevent this, nothing was working. The techs at Bloodstock are incredible, considering they're working with a different band every 45 minutes. They're so calm, they're professional, they're amazing. Someone clipped a clip-on tuner about 3 seconds before we started on. I was like furiously tuning before we started. I would never say that it was our most accurate set, but certainly our most energetic. We've said a few times between us and maybe to friends as well, we would have loved a bit more experience going into that. But bar the problems, it was still incredible. And I'd love to play there again.
Well, I'm sure you will one day.
Especially now we have a second guitar player, because when we did that, John was prior to John joining the band.
That's pre-John,
guitar, and if you listen to it of our music, anytime Lou went up for a solo, it was just like oof, sound goes because like I'm just a humble bass player, so I can't be doing all of the other stuff that's going on at that point.
Yeah.
You're saying the sort of Metal to Masses competition that you entered was sort of your first run of gigs. Does that mean the band sort of started shortly before that, a year or so before that? Can you sort of just give us a bit of a brief history of the band?
Yeah, so myself, Chris, Tom and Ricky, we all met at school. So we've all known each other since our early teens. me, Ricky and Tom have been playing music since we were about 14, 15 together. Mostly Chili Peppers, rip-offs, things like that. Then we all went to download 2012. Chris, you came as well, didn't you? Yeah, we all went to 2012 download, and Chris was already into metal. Tom and Ricky were getting there, and I, who knew nothing, but I just got a new job and went, oh, sod it. Yeah, whatever, I'll go. And then discovered Trivium and lots of other metal bands and decided, oh, let's be a metal band then. Let's do that. Did a bit more of that. Our bassist at the time, Dom, who we love, very good friend of ours, went off to live in America. So we needed a new bassist. So we hit Chris up at the beginning of 2017. And we spent the entirety of that year sort of creating Earthbound, creating the sound, honing in, writing and recording Endure. Chris getting our arse in gear, because we always were happy with how the music was, but we didn't have any sort of nous, whereas Chris sort of became our bassist and manager, and gave us a kick up the arse and sort of went, right, this is what you need to do. Say you get gigs, say you book gigs, this is what a promoter is, this is what this is. You know, we didn't know any of that. Put out Endure at the end of 2017 and then started gigging at the beginning of 2018. Yeah,
it's always a fun time thinking about it. I'll tell you the exact day that we first had the discussion of me joining the band. It was Metal to the Masses final 2017. Was that when the Countless Skies headlined? With Razor Void and Everest Cream winning. Or was that 2016?
No, that was my first competition. That was my first time at Hitchin.
Yeah, no, because I think I'd come back from, because I was at uni at the time. I was at uni in London, and I was like, I'm friends with obviously fucking CPFs with the Countless Skies lads.
I love those guys.
And I went down to go support them, and I hadn't really spoken to Louis, Ricky, and Tom for a little while, just because they were back home and I was in London. And I came back to chat with them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Dom's going to university," and I was like, "Whoop."
Well, no, it was you and Harry Bailey.
Player.
Harry was there as well, and Harry, we were like, "Oh, we need a bass player," and Harry sort of went, "Chris is here. Why not Chris?"
Shout out Harry from Death Goals.
Harry from Death Goals, amazing band.
Good friend of ours.
Yes.
So that's what the kind of connection came from. And I was like, and then I always rated the music they wrote, but I did always get the sense that they were kind of clueless.
We had no idea.
Right. So I was like, right, how do I like sort these guys out? And basically, it was like it was literally locking them in a rehearsal room for a year, and then the band happened. It was great.
Yeah. That is how the band
John,
happened.
who basically does that job, because John's more experienced than me with live shows.
Yeah, John came about. John, when did John officially join? It was end of 2018.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was like October when we did that video.
Yeah, it was like October, November. Yeah, 2018. So we spent almost a year as a full piece, and then found the one, and Jumbo joined us.
You spent time honing your craft before you got yourself out there. But prior to that, obviously, somebody somewhere came up with the name Earthbound. Where did that come from? Who can claim credit for picking that one? Or was it a band?
I can't remember who first put the name forward.
It was you. It was you.
It was me or Ricky, because the main one I say is the Bury Tomorrow album, Earthbound, which came out 2016. So that was in the forefront of our minds. There's also the game, the Nintendo game.
The game which Louis had no idea of existed when he suggested that. I didn't know. You do realise that is the name of a very, very successful Nintendo franchise. And he was like,
crazy. It's now the name of our band.
It's now the name of our band.
And then there's another album, a live album, but there's do not remember.
Right. This is the game. Game for the comments, lads. If you can figure out what the third reference is, there might be a clue later on in this video when I talk about my influences. It is a live album from a 70s band. If you can tell me the band, you will get Earthbound points. They can be redeemed at a later date.
I'll have to Google it because I don't remember who it is. So
I can tell you in the chat afterwards. It's fine.
Okay, all right. Cheers.
Yeah, no. If you can tell us, if you can figure out what the third reference is, then you get some Earthbound points, which you can reclaim for something.
A sticker.
The mystery box.
Yes.
The box.
I've struck out 3 times because I don't know the Bury Tomorrow album. I certainly don't know the Nintendo game, and I don't know what live album she's referring to.
I'm sorry, how can you be in a band with Andrew Bisgrove and not know Bury Tomorrow? He loves Bury Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's mentioned, I'm sure, but I don't know.
If there's a Bury Tomorrow album you should listen to, it's that one. It's in my humble opinion, despite wearing a T-shirt of another one of their albums. In my humble opinion, it's their best, definitely.
Yeah, I'm always up for recommendations. I'm quite sort of structured in what I listen to. So if anybody throws something for me to check out, I'll definitely do that. For anybody who doesn't know you or haven't heard you or seen you live, how would you describe the band's sound? What are your influences? Who would you be who would you be for fans of? You know, in your sort of life people often put out there.
This is a highly annoying question that we frequently have arguments about in the band chat.
Yeah, it's annoying within the band. Yeah, it's contentious. It's the word,
I'm the one that does all like the advertising and marketing for the band, right? So anytime I have to knock together like an advert for social media, I'm like, who do I put in as for fans of? Because we're so broad. Like obviously we've got the Trivium influence, we got the Killswitch Engage influence, but between the rest of the band listening wise, obviously Louis big into it, like it's Bury Tomorrow, it's Killswitch, it's Trivium, like Beartooth, like that kind of more modern metalcore. All of that kind of like really like Adam, anything that involves Adam D riffs.
Anything that involves double kick drum just constantly going, and then something melodic on top. I'm in.
And then I'm into like this broad variety of like technical death metal, like I fucking love Archspire, going across and like Cynic and stuff like that, like and then all the way over to like jazz fusion, and like 70s prog as well. Like I fucking love, like Geddy Lee is one of my biggest like bass influences, and then but the rest of the band, Tom listens to nothing but hip hop and country. Ricky listens to almost exclusively like synthwave and post. That's it, like his two genres, and like synth pop stuff. And John is big into like kind of the more traditional prog metal bands, like your Symphony X's, your Dream Theaters, your Fate's Warnings, those kind of bands. So between a lot of us, there's no one band that we all like. Maybe other than Trivium, but I don't know if John actually likes Trivium or he just says to humour us.
He likes bits of Trivium, but we always said it feels a bit cringe because we don't. We don't actually sound like anyone. Yeah. But you ask us and we go, I don't actually know who we sound like other than us.
Yeah, if you think we sound like a band, can you let us know, please?
Oh, please, yeah, please.
People in the comments, because we get a monomath a lot, which is kind of a weird one.
We do
because we love clean choruses, and Monomath famously do not have clean choruses, so I've no idea where people are getting that from.
Yeah, we're big on like, it's a weird one.
But what we do have is what we kind of amalgam together. We end up with this weird combination of power metal, and then John's going to hate me for saying this word, metalcore.
Metalcore.
John hates people that say the M word.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, he's going to say it.
When we do our recaps of each of the heats, I not for every band, but for many bands, because they're so talented and trying to be different and trying to sort of, put themselves out there. I often find it quite difficult to sort of put them in a, pigeonhole them in a genre. So I throw a few in there and let people sort of make their own minds up when they see the clip. You mentioned there about everybody's influences and the music they like. There's a variety of styles there, not just metal at all. So I was wondering, what is the songwriting process in that case? Are there influences from
songwriting process
from Tom's country and hip hop, sort of likes and Richard Simmons? So how does the songwriting process work?
We're very big on rehearsal time for rehearsal. So our once a week, 2 hours a week, that's just basically just for tightness for live. That's all we use it for, really. I mean, we've had time off with COVID and obviously with the issue with Tom's illness, and we've used that to tighten up and do a bit of songwriting, but generally it's all for our live performances. So the songwriting sort of comes before that, in the sense that generally Chris or John will bring a full or almost full instrumental demo to us, and we'll sit down at a separate point and listen through and go, right, okay, we like this bit, we don't like this bit. But a bit of something we love, which goes with all those influences we just talked about, is that we all have an influence on every single song, whether that be, I've just added a tiny bit of melody there, or whether like Ricky and Tom generally write the lyrics and they'll write large swathes of the lyrics, and that's obviously a massive influence on the song. We all put our little flavour in. And I've said it before to the guys, but it's my favourite part about our band that there's no one true songwriter, because we all write for Earthbound. There would never be an individual credit because it's all us.
Yeah, because as Louis said, prior to me joining the band, you were a writing rehearsal room band, and
it would take hours.
And I always find that you get a better result if you can actually like sit back and do something at your own pace, which you can't do if you only have 2 hours of rehearsal, including setup and pack down time. If you're trying to write a song in that point, it just kind of sounds rubbish. And especially considering the music we write it can be quite orchestrated in areas. So you have time. It gives me time to write, because I'm the one that does the bulk of like the orchestration and stuff in our music. Or it gives John and Louis time to sit down and like work out like 800 layers of guitar harmony. Or it gives Tom and Louis time to sit down and work out 800 layers of vocal harmony that you can't.
We have
do.
gone pretty silly on the new stuff.
There are too many vocal harmonies, but it gives you time to actually sit down and do that. Rather than, oh no, we've got 45 minutes to come up with this part, and then you just come up with something rubbish, and then it sticks, and then you end up with our unreleased song, "Final Days," which ironically, I
ignore that. Cut that.
Cut that. Don't actually cut that.
You wrote that.
I wrote that. It's rubbish. That's why we never released it. We played it a few times. If you watched us in 2018 and 19, you would have seen a song that was so rubbish that we decided to put it in the bin.
It's on my gig spreadsheet forever, mate. No. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry.
But yeah, no. So writing, we find a lot easier just to like, because I've got my like computer set up and shit. I can just write with that, program some drums in, send it to Ricky. He says, "Who do you think I am, Nick Blues?" I can't do that. That's like 250 BPM blasting for 9.5 minutes. I can't do that. Can you do something else with it? And I go, fine. Guess I'll have to put normal drum beats down. Can't you just like practice? No.
My next question, obviously it's not going to be Final Days, because we will definitely be trying to unearth them somewhere. I mean, I've got my particular favourites, but I was wondering, is there a song that's always going to be on your set? One that you all love and will always play. That you have done and perhaps will in the future as well. Is there one or two songs that are always going to be in the Earthbound set?
I think because of mainly for me, but because of especially when we play 85, the sing back ability, because I've just created that word. Everyone singing Worlds Apart back to us gives me a lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling. So I never want to stop playing that. Mainly because, we play 85 and it gets sung back to us straight away. You play somewhere new, and because it's so repetitive, by the last chorus, they've got it. And it's so easy, and they all sing it back. It's great. Chris, you got one?
Yeah. So, of Suffering, I don't think was ever going to really leave the set list, because we kind of use it as like a third song wake up, because we've got the way we structure our set list, right? We do our intro track, and then we have two songs segued into each other, and then there's a little break. There's a little break, and then we play a third song. The third song tends to be Of Suffering, just because it is massively high energy, and it kind of forces us to like keep going, because you can hit that slump after the first two songs, because I spend a lot of time watching bands. So whether it be going to gigs or what I did over lockdown, which was watch a massive amount of live videos and live DVDs, and basically like, what can I steal from, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's that really famous Killswitch Engage one? Where Howard's on that live video where the crowd are going absolutely nuts for like 40 minutes.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know exactly what you're on about.
People don't know what that one is. I watched that, and I'm like, how can I steal like ideas from that? And I'm like, it's the high energy song number 3 because it stops people from going, oh, right, I've kicked off now. What have I got next? It keeps everyone going, keeps everyone.
It stops the crowd from going, oh, I've seen 2 songs now. Maybe I'll go outside for a smoke or to the loo. And then they hear a fast song kicking in, not even necessarily off Suffering, just in any sort of set, like Chris says, fast song kicking in, and they'll sort of go, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll stick around. And then they end up staying for the whole set.
Then you stick around for the whole set?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that'll stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got a big boy chorus on it, so people enjoy that.
We love a big boy chorus.
I mean, chatting to you, as we have done, I've got the impression that you are very conscientious about what this band does. You want to try and be the best you can. You sort of research into other things, to make yourselves better. Be it sort of like marketing, the playing of shows, your set list, and as you just described, where certain songs go. I mean, that's very commendable. Yeah,
so that's a bit of background. That's a thing that I picked up off of current actually Welsh rugby coach Warren Gatland. He has a saying that is be the best at the stuff that takes no talent, and the stuff that takes no talent is turning up early to a gig, doing doing some social media posts, being not an arsehole when you get to the gig, like being just generally being nice to people when you get to a gig, because I see so many bands that like turn up to a gig, don't say hello to anybody, then ask you to borrow their gear.
And you're like, wait, you're playing? Who are you?
Like, it's like you say you've not spoken to me once, and you're like turning up and like demanding that I give you my gear. How about no? We get around that these days by having we get around that these days by being entirely digital, and so we're like, mate, can I borrow your amp? No, mate, don't have an amp. What do you mean don't have an amp?
I would. Would do. I would,
brother.
I would.
Like,
yeah. But I'd say the word that I would use to start. The word I would use to describe how we do things is very deliberate. Everything we do is very deliberate. We have a meeting once a week to discuss everything. We discuss what we're going to post. We discuss short-term things, long-term things, gigs coming up, booking gigs, things like that. And we're always very deliberate, whether it be in our live show, in our rehearsals, in our writing, whatever we're doing. Because like Chris says, we want to be the best at the basic stuff. We'd also quite like to be the best at everything else, which would be quite nice.
Yeah.
And that goes with that comes with hard work. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you see too many bands kind of doing it wrong.
Don't half-ass it.
Yeah, in the sense that their songs are there, the quality, everything is there, and you're like, but the only thing is that they just don't bother doing any of the inverted commas boring stuff, like your social medias, like you're just trying to get your music in front of people in places that isn't just, well, I guess I'll say yes to that gig. It's like, no, you have to actively go out and look for gigs and like think about the people you want to specifically target, get your stuff in front of those people. Because we've had, weirdly, right, over lockdown, I decided to get into writing Facebook adverts. I run a few Facebook adverts, and one of ours did really well, just randomly in Brazil. And now I think it's our second biggest, like listener base is in
Brazil and Mexico. Yeah.
And they aren't like bots, because the bots would have dipped out 3 years ago. Like, we've been consistently gaining like 100 listeners a month from South America, like every month since 2020. It's mad. It's just people need to like get your music in front of people that actually give a shit. Because I see too many, like, happens a lot with like bands that we're friends with. We're like, now less so now, but they used to just gig in front of random bands or like random fans with doing like indie, and I'm like, what's the point? You're a metal band. Why are you playing on a Thursday night in, I don't know, where's somewhere random, like Bishop Stortford? That's kind of random.
Yeah.
Somewhere like random like Bishop Stortford on a Thursday with like 4 indie bands. Why are you a death metal band doing this?
It's a glorified band practice at that point.
It is, essentially, yeah.
Talking to Thursday nights, we're going to sort of start wrapping this up, but you've got one.
I just see the timer pop up. Yeah.
in Chelmsford with Beyond Extinction, Acadian, who are, I know very well, great band from Cambridge.
Insanely good bands.
Both of them are great. We played with Beyond Extinction before. and they're
We
wonderful
reviewed
as well.
their EP actually, thinking about it on the channel.
So
Yeah, I
good.
really like
They're
that.
so good, and they're so young as well. For the
Are they?
quality they're putting out, I'm like,
It's infuriating, really.
you're gonna be insane in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're insane now. You're
They're
gonna be even
insane
more
now.
insane. Yeah, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's later this week. But what else is on the calendar for Earthbound for the rest of 23 and perhaps the early part of 2024?
Right. So we've been talking about it on our social media, but we should, fingers crossed, have an album out by the end of the year. We've been working on material for a long while. Because Louis mentioned earlier that obviously everyone took time off over COVID, and then we had to take an extra 18 months off because our singer developed acute kidney failure. Both of his kidneys died and required a transplant, which he was very fortunate to get off of his very, very lovely sister. Yeah. So we took some time off for that. So that kind of kept pushing stuff back. But we have finished the recordings for all of the first 3 songs we're putting out. We're going to like drip feed singles because that's the way you got to do stuff these days.
Yeah.
They're all done. They will be going off to a producer, hopefully within the next month, and then everything else will be coming shortly behind that. So hopefully, of course, towards the tail end of the year, Earthbound Album 1 will be out. And yeah, it's going to be sick. The music is so good.
We're excited. We're very excited.
And promotional shows to go with it, I'm sure.
Yes. So we were fortunate enough to we've been fortunate enough to start working with Unearth Music Agency, with Harry. Shout out Harry as our manager. So he's been booking us some gigs now because I kind of
shout out Beyond Your Design.
Shout out Beyond Design. I kind of ran out of my contacts. They stopped replying to my emails. So it was like, crap, is this guy again? Straight in the spam bin. But no, Harry's really opened some doors for us. That's where our contact at the 6-6. We played 6-6 for the first time the other week. That's where that came from. We've got a really sick festival that we haven't announced yet, that I don't think we're allowed to announce yet. I am jazzed
We're not announced
to get us. Not announced that yet. I'm jazzed to get us on. I've been trying to do for a while, and it now has worked. I'm so excited to get there. But he's opened a bunch of other doors for us, and that's going to be really great once we've got new music, album on the way, album out, all that other lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Fandabby dozy.
Very exciting.
So lots of good things coming up for you guys.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant. That just leaves me to thank you both, Louis, Chris of Earthbound. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and we will see you on another video very soon. Goodbye.